What's up, guys? What's up, guys and gals? Who do we got on here? Give me a minute. Sorry about that. I had to restart my laptop to get this thing going. But happy Saturday. Hope you're doing well. And welcome aboard. Who do we have on here? Let's see if somebody in the queue here. Let's see who we got. Give it another minute or so. Who do we have? Give me a shout in the comments. Let me know you're here. What do we got? Give it another minute. We're going to talk about middle distance training today. 100 Max Power, how you doing, man? Hello from Germany. Hello, Germany. How are you, 100 Max Power? Hello from America, the East Coast. Wow. We're going to focus on middle distance training today and kind of pivoting from marathon and 5K training and moving over. And this was a request from somebody as well, but I wanted to dive into a little bit deeper because it complements training for 5K and longer races. So they complement each other extremely well. But knowing some of the differences between the two is important, and how to kind of set up training accordingly can really, really be beneficial. So who else do we have on here? 100 Max Power. Perry from Texas. Hey, Perry. How you doing? Hello. Hello. All right. So without further ado, we're going to really focus on the 800 meters and the 1500 meters and the mile and stuff like that. Are you guys and gals, are you familiar with it? Do you run these events? Do you coach these events? Give me a little bit of insight into what your experience is and what your interest is in the middle distances, so I can definitely emphasize certain points for you. But we'll generally focus on the 800 meters and the mile, the 1500, because that essentially, it's complementary for those that are running the 1,000 meters or the lead-off leg on a distance medley relay, 1,200 meter leg. So you'll be able to run all these things if you train appropriately in the middle distance range. And one of the things that's most important is a multi-tiered or multi-pace training system, meaning doing stuff at tempo and threshold. So stuff from 10K pace all the way down to sprinting, to fast sprinting. So, and a significant or a decent chunk of work at 3K pace and 5K pace too. They definitely help build up strength and your threshold capacity to handle the more intense stuff. And a good middle distance runner should be able to move up, or I should say a well-prepared distance runner should be able to move up into longer stuff and move down to the shorter events as well. They're complementary of each other. Now, with that, some things to point out with 800 meters, and I'm going to give you lots of workouts too that you can grab and utilize as well. 800 meters is a hybrid, basically a hybrid between sprint and middle distances, as you probably know. And but there's certain things to point out. Put for the 800 meters, 100 max, not really a middle distance run, and more of a long distance run, looking to improve my mile PR. Then this is definitely a good video for you. Okay, and even my other stuff as well, because I incorporate multi-pace training systems in my 5K training too. But the more you improve your shorter stuff, the more you'll improve your longer stuff. So, but you'll find some good content here, 100 max for the mile. So, and even for the 800 meters, which complements the mile. So again, every system in your body's operating at pretty much max output. Okay, and one of the things that's a little bit different here is lactic acid accumulates in the legs, but in a more gradual manner than in the 400 meters. Okay, so but it does accumulate. So it's important to do lactate training prior to. And all along the way. One of the top characteristics of an 800 meter runner, no matter what the body type is, and there's lots of different body types. You'll see lanky people, stocky people, but the most key characteristic is the ability to accelerate and the ability to sprint and run fast. Okay, whether you're in a short race or in a long race. Okay, and folks that are not averse or not opposed to running some cross country race or doing some cross country training while they're preparing for the 800 meters. They're good candidates to run to be successful in 800 too. They're not afraid of getting uncomfortable, not afraid of doing things and putting themselves in a little bit of a adverse situation. It's a good callousing for the training. Okay, but again, it's a combination. And I'm looking down at my training book, so I want to make sure I get everything right. So if you see me looking down, that's why. Some of the important parts are speed, endurance, pace judgment, the ability to kind of maintain pace or adjust pace and whatnot. And obviously, race tactics are of utmost importance. You have less time in an 800-meter race than you do a 5K race. So race tactics and positioning are extremely important in races like this and the mile. Okay. Now, in terms of specificity of training, you look at about 50% of your easy runs are going to be around 50% of your 800-meter pace. So let's just say you're running 800 meters at 2 minutes, which is a 4-minute mile pace. 50% of that, you're essentially looking at 8-minute miles for your easy runs, or right around the 8 minutes to 7:45 or something like that. Okay, your shorter runs, slightly faster, or 20 to 40-minute type runs, are at about 50 to 60%. So you're looking close to the 7:30 per mile or 7:15. Your mid to long, your mid to long intervals at 65 to 85% of current 800-meter pace, which is essentially between 10K and mile pace. Okay, so you need to do a little bit of calculations based on your current fitness in order to figure out the paces that you want to run, or that you should be running, but it's not difficult to do. Okay, your medium intervals are at about 80 to 90% of 800-meter pace, which is essentially between 3K and mile pace, and the same goes for your shorter intervals that have short recovery. Your 200s and 300s, 150s, things like that. These are just repetitions with a short recovery at about the same 80 to 90% pace. So, but again, the short recovery it helps it simulate the longer stuff as well, but in a different way. Some folks can handle longer reps. Some folks can handle shorter reps better. So building yourself from one to the other, or getting a little bit of both, is an important component of training as well. And hill training, which is another important piece, anywhere between 15 and 30-second hill accelerations, relatively steep, focusing on staying upright, good pump, good arm pump, good knee lift, and acceleration as much as you possibly can. You jog down nice and easy. Take about a 2 to 3 minute recovery in between each hill repeat, but no more than 30 seconds in duration. So those are things to look for in 800 meters. So to start incorporating into your training. Moving over to the mile and the 1500, it's a similar philosophy, but there's slightly different components to it. Mile is pretty much the premier sport in track and field, the premier event in track and field, but it is also successful milers follow a multi-tiered, multi-pace training system. They'll do stuff at 10K pace, 5K pace, 3K, all the way down to 400-meter pace. Okay, and you need to have the strength of or build towards the strength of a 3K, 5K runner and the speed of an 800, 400-meter runner for a successful miler. It's a combination of middle distance and distance running. But the ability to sprint here is also very important, very, very important, particularly in the longer races. Accelerating from longer route, from shorter route, will help you determine how well you can run a mile. Okay, and I talk about a mile as testing yourself along the way. If you're a distance runner as well, seeing how fast you can run a mile after about 8 or 10 weeks of just base training, with some basic speed development components in there as well, to give you an accurate indication of your current fitness, and then you'll be able to set your training paces for pretty much everything. But especially if you're training for cross country, 5K, 10K, and stuff like that. 1,200 meters, about 10 or 11 days out, is also a good thing to do as well. So, and keep in mind too, if you've seen these mile races, the more of your distance-oriented guys and gals will go out harder, and they'll try to take the kick out of the milers, and then the more patient middle distance types will kind of sit back and work their through the race, and then work on trying to accelerate past these people at the end, particularly ones with the strong kicks. We got here, Sam. What would be your thoughts on doing 3 quality sessions a week? Tempo, threshold, VO2 max, and track session, interesting pace, mile reps, a long run in a week for mid-distance runners. It depends on if you can tolerate it, Sam. Then that's the key, the tolerability, and you have to build towards this stuff. For me, I actually like incorporating. Let's say you do a 4-mile tempo run, right, at a such and such pace. Then you take about an 800-meter jog easy, and then I like to do some 800 meters. Some 300-meter reps on the back end of it, maybe 3 or 4 of them at mile pace, or 3 to 4 times a 200 at 800-meter pace, with a decent recovery or an equal jog, because it teaches you how to accelerate and run these paces when you're already fatigued. And that's an important thing to do. So, but again, it depends on how many people can tolerate that. 3 times hard per week, 3 quality workouts a week won't work for everybody. The injury-prone people need less. Some of the more distance-oriented people need more. And it also depends on how much volume you're wanting to do as well. If you're doing, let's say, a tempo. I mean, the way I like to do this too, if you break it into a 14-day cycle, the first week you can do stuff at 5K pace and 3K pace, and then the next week you can do it mile pace, 800-meter pace, and 400-meter pace, and then you can repeat that cycle and see how well you're progressing along the way. That way, you're giving yourself enough recovery after each session, but you're also including all the necessary paces within the training program, and breaking it into a 14-day cycle. It's a good recipe for success. Who used to do that actually? Sebastian Coe is one of the greatest middle distance runners of all time. Broke it down over a 2-week period as well, and he incorporated all the paces. And let's just say you do 5 to 6 times 1,000 on week 1 on a Tuesday, and then you come back that Friday, and you do 5 to 6 times an 800 at 3K pace. The thousands were 5K pace. This is at 3K pace, and with your respective recoveries. And then obviously another day you're doing some acceleration or some short sprint stuff after a run, and it's not necessarily classified as a workout. But in the following week, when you're doing some 400s or 300s at mile pace, and then you're doing another workout at combination of 800 and 400 meter pace, some really fast 150s, or incorporate that stuff after a little threshold run, after a 3 or 4 mile threshold run. Then you plug that stuff at the end of it, and you're getting your 800 meters and your 400 meter pace. And you're really, really fast stuff. And again, it's not only teaching you how to accelerate when you're tired, but you do it in such a way where you're not having to do an overwhelming amount of volume, because it's not necessary anyway. You don't need to do 20 times 200 and things like that. It's not going to work for everybody. So keep it. To answer it simply, Sam, is you can do it, but I think it's better to do it over a 2-week cycle and spread things out so you're getting enough recovery and incorporating in such a way that allows you to continue to progress. And it's a much more easy cycle or periodization to adapt to than all in 1 week, if that makes sense. So let me know if you find that helpful, Sam, if that makes sense to you. But those are generally the things to look for, the common philosophies or characteristics of 800 meter running and mile running. Now I want to actually go over give you some workouts, okay? And some early season, some mid-season, some late season stuff, and to help you. And these are workouts that I've used on athletes with a lot of success, okay? Let's start with the 800 meters first. So a sample strength workout, okay? You're looking at 4 to 5 times 1,000 meters. Some people will go up to 6. Take about a 3-minute recovery. You do it at 5K pace, okay? Whatever your current 5K pace is at the time, based on your mile equivalent and so on and so forth. And I even test people at the mile if they're running for the 800 meters. So, because it goes to show you how well the strength side is, okay? So 4 to 5 times 1,000, let's say, with a 3-minute recovery at 5K pace. Then you take about a, 4 to 5, 6-minute recovery. And then in the back end, you do 3 to 4 times at 200 meters with a 200-meter jog at 800 meter pace. So let's say you're looking to run 2 minutes. You run those you try to run them in 29 or 30 seconds, okay? After these Ks. Okay, the Ks help you transition into the shorter stuff. Okay, and that's key as well. All right. So that's one example of a strength workout. A race week, I like to do the 4 or 5 times 1,000 meter, but at threshold pace with a 1-minute recovery. It's a much better workout on race week than it is doing the more aggressive race pace stuff. So just keep in mind that component, tempo or threshold, is a great race week workout. Okay. So now early season. So I like 200-meter reps as a staple. So I have an early, a mid, and a late. I'll give you them all right now. Early season, looking at 8 times 200, okay, with a 60-second recovery at 800-meter pace. You at goal, you progress from current to goal, okay? Then mid-season, you bump it up to 10 of them, okay? Late season, you bump it up to 12 of them. So at the same 1-minute recovery, and so this is a situation where you're doing a little bit more and a little bit more at race pace, okay? And these are for those that folks that need this type of rhythm work, who might not necessarily be able to do hard 400s yet, or hard 600s. Those are good things to do, but again, having more options of workouts will help you, especially as a coach, because this might suit some folks better than the other thing, and so on. So having multiple options for your runners, particularly your half milers, is a good idea. Okay, and then back to early season workout, 2 sets of 2 by 400, so 4 by 400 meter total. It's not a big workout, but you take a 3-minute recovery in between each rep, and then a 6-minute recovery in between a set. So essentially, you're doing 4 times a 400 at your goal 800 meter pace. Okay, double the distance, so a whole mile's worth. So if your goal is 2 minutes, you're looking to try to run these in 60. Okay, and then another one is a 20-minute tempo run, and then you take about at the appropriate pace, and then you take a 4 to 5 minute recovery in the back end, and you do 4 times 150-meter sprints with a jog equal. Okay, jog 150 meters. You can even do progression 150s, which is a 50 float, 50 strut, 50 sprint. Each 50-meter gets faster. It teaches you how to shift gears, particularly at the end of an 800-meter race. Okay, gear shifting workout is great as well. And again, the tempo run, if you haven't built up to 20 minutes yet, that's okay. Okay, you build up gradually. You can do 2 times an 8-minute first, or 2 times 6 minutes, and then the next one you do 12 minutes consecutively. Then you go 2 times 8 minutes, and then you go 16 minutes consecutively, and then 2 times 10 minutes, and then a 20-minute consecutive tempo run. And that allows you to build gradually at the goal pace, and then let your body adapt to that. So that's a way of building up to a 20-minute tempo or a 4-mile tempo in building in blocks over the course of a season. This is something you can do like in the fall during cross-country season when the middle distance runners aren't necessarily all running cross-country. We're just going to run track. This is a great way of building that tempo over time. Okay, doing it every other week, and then by the 12th week, they're at 20 minutes. So that's a way of thinking about it. Now, mid-season, so we already have the 10 times 200. Then we'll go away a 600-meter effort with an 8 to 10-minute recovery at 800-meter pace. Simulate. You need to know what it feels like to be at 600 meters at goal pace, okay? And then you do 6 to 8 times 200 on the back end. You do this workout twice. The first time you have a 60-second recovery after the 200s at 800-meter pace. Again, so you're doing more volume at 800-meter pace or slightly faster. And then the next time you do it, you try with 45 seconds recovery at that pace. So again, you add up the volume. It's not a lot. Okay, now you're looking at 1,400 meters. No, 2,000 meters worth of running at 800-meter pace. But it's broken up into pieces. This is a great way of doing it. And doing those rhythm 200s after running the 600 already is a great way of getting more stuff at 800-meter pace or slightly faster, having already done that. So you'll have that lactic in your legs. You'll have that junk in your legs. So it's an important workout. And another one is 3 to 4 times 500 meters. Okay, with a 300-meter jog recovery, very slow, easy, at goal 800-meter pace. So again, if your goal is 2 minutes, and I'll use 2 minutes because it's a nice, even, and flat example, you're looking to run these in 114 to 115, 60-second pace. So it's 15 seconds per 100, 30, 45, a minute, 115. Okay, and you can do, knowing what it feels like doing 500-meter reps at 800-meter pace is a good strength workout, a really good strength workout. So that's mid-season. Let's go over to the late season. We already did 12 times 200 with a 1-minute recovery at 800-meter pace, rhythm work. Okay, next up, you do that 600-meter effort again. Okay, with an 8-minute recovery at 800-meter pace, and then you do a 400-meter effort with a 5-minute recovery at slightly faster. So let's say you do the 600 and 129 to 130. Again, using 2 minutes as an example. Then you try to run the 400 in 58, or if you can run it faster, you run it faster. Take a 5-minute recovery and then a 300-meter effort on the back end with a 2-minute recovery, slightly faster than that. And then you finish off with a 200. So it's a 6-4-3-2. That's the whole workout. But this is a great race sharpening workout late in the season. You don't have to. And then one more is 2 sets of broken 800s, 600, 200. So the 600 is at goal 800-meter pace. Then you take a 1-minute recovery, and then you try to run a 2-minute effort. A 200-meter effort slightly faster. So again, let's say you run 129 or 130. You try to run 29 or 28 for that 200. The short rest is going to catch up to you. You take a 10 to 12-minute recovery in between sets, and then you repeat that. Okay, and this is something you can do again, and then you try to cut that rest in between the 6 and the 2 down to 30 seconds. That'll really give you an idea what it feels like at 800. So for the 800, that's a tough one. So, but again, some people can handle 30 seconds. Some folks might be able to better tolerate the 1 minute in between. Either one is good. Okay, but it's a gradual building from a minute to the 30 seconds. I wouldn't do the 30 seconds first. I do the minute first, and then let them build towards that a couple weeks later. So those are good late season, early season, and mid season workouts. There's also something that's you can flush out a lactic acid. So let's say you can run a 300-meter hard effort. Okay, so you're running, let's say 42 or something like that, significantly faster than 2 minute pace. You take a 30-second recovery, and then you go right into a 600 or an 800-meter effort at tempo pace. So whatever the tempo pace is. Let's just say, for this case, it's 520 pace. So let's say you run a 42-second 300, you take a 30-second recovery, and then you go right into a 600 at either 2 minutes or an 800 at 240. What it helps is that you're putting the lactic in your legs with the 300, and then you're going to push it out. with that longer rep. So flush out the lactic acid, then you take a 10 to 15 minute recovery. You try it again one more time. Okay, so again, it's a great way of putting in lactic, taking out lactic. Okay, it's a great mid-season workout. Okay, but the better you can flush lactic out of your legs, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so now let's move over to 1500 in the mile. Okay, also multi-tier training system. A good staple strength workout here is that same 5 to 6 times 1,000 meters. Again, it's about 4 to 5 times 1,000 for 800 meter runners. Some cases, folks will do 6. For the milers, you're doing it 5 to 6 times 1,000 meters with a 2-minute 30-second recovery, not a 3-minute, at 5K pace. Okay, good strength workout. And then on the back end, 3 times 300 meters with a 1-minute recovery at mile pace. So you're looking to run whatever it is, 420, which is 65 seconds per mile, about a 48 second for the 300, something like that. So you run your mile, you run your 1,000 meter efforts at 5K pace, and you take your recovery. Then 3 times the 300, 48 on the back end, something like that. And you'll know what it feels like to run mile pace when you're already fatigued. It simulates the end part of a mile race, just like these other things simulate the end part of a 800 meter race. The better you're adapt to feeling uncomfortable and still holding pace or accelerating, the more successful you'll be in these races. So that's a good one. Then in race week, the same workout, 5 to 6 times 1,000, but and I should say key race week, like when you're a focus race that you're really looking to run well. So a couple races per season, but you do the threshold ones, 5 to 6 times 1,000 with a minute recovery at the appropriate threshold pace. Okay, and then you can still do the 300s on the back end, or you can do 3 times the 200, whichever you feel is most appropriate. And give yourself about 3 recovery days in between that and the race. So if the race is Saturday, this is a workout you do on Tuesday. Okay. Now, early season workouts. Okay, we're going to start with 400 meter efforts. Okay, 2 sets of 3 times 400. Okay, 6 by 400 meter total. Okay, with a 90-second recovery, and they're done at mile pace. Okay, so again, if you're looking to run 420, you're looking at 65. If you're looking to run 6 minutes, you're looking to run them in 130, 129, 130. So that pace or maybe a second faster. If you're looking to run 5 minutes, 74 to 75. If you're looking to run again 420, 64 to 65, and so on. Okay, you take a 90-second recovery in between each, and then they're running at mile pace. Okay, you take a 3-minute recovery in between the sets, and then you repeat it again. So it's 6 total 400 meter efforts. Okay, and then you transition that into 6 consecutive 400s with a 90-second recovery at mile pace mid-season. Okay, and then instead of having it broken up into 2 sets, you do 6 consecutive. You try to run those same paces. That's the sign of progression. And then late season, you can bump it up to 8 by 400. You can either do 2 sets of 4 by 400, and then doing the same thing, 90 seconds, and then 3 minutes in between the sets. And then you can do 8 by 400 meter consecutively as well. You can do both of those late season or however you want to lay it out. Okay, so you can do the 3 workouts, you can do the 4 workouts, but you're building up to 8 times 400 consecutively with a 90-second recovery at mile pace. Okay, now back to early season, another workout, three times in 800 meters with a 3-minute recovery, either at goal pace or progression. So again, if you're looking to run 5.3 to 2:30 with a 3-minute recovery, or another way to do it is you can do them descending. So you can run 2 seconds slower, 2:32, then 2:30, then 2:28. And then if you run that workout again, you can run 2:20, 2:30, 2:28, 2:26. You try to drop 2 seconds after each time. So it's a good sign of progression as well. But 3 times an 800 meter total, averaging your goal for race pace for the mile or slightly faster. Okay. And then another one is building up to that 20-minute tempo again, or 20 to 25-minute tempo in this case. At the appropriate pace, you take a 4 to 5 minute recovery on the back end, and then you do 4 times 200 meters with a 200-meter jog recovery, and you work down from mile pace down to 800-meter pace. Okay, so 4-mile tempo, 3.5 to 4-mile tempo, little recovery, 4 times 200 meters on the back end. Okay, mid-season, 2 sets of 4 by 400. So again, that's the mid-season, the 400-meter efforts I was telling you about. So you can do the 6 times the 400 consecutively and 2 sets of 4, which helps bump you up to the 8 before doing the 8 consecutive. So that's the one workout. 4 times an 800-meter effort with a 3-minute recovery at mile pace. So if you're looking to run 7 minutes, you're looking to run these in 3:29 to 3:30. You're looking to run 6 minutes, 2:59 to 3 minutes. 5 minutes, 2:29 to 2:30. 4:20, let's say, 2:09 to 2:10. So by building up to 4 reps if you can. Okay, that's the progression from 3 to 4. And then lastly, 2 sets of broken mile. This is a 400, 600, 400, 200. You do them at goal mile pace. You take a 200-meter jog recovery after each one. And then in between the sets, you take about a 6-minute recovery after the last 200. Then you repeat. So it's 2 miles of total running at mile pace, but broken into 8 pieces. Okay? And it breaks it down. You get into the race, you lock into your pace, and then running that longer part in the middle of it, holding on, and then even running slightly faster if you want for the 200. So this is a great workout as well. I've used it a lot on my middle distance runners with a lot of success. Good mid-season workout. And then late season, we've got the 8 times 400 already. And then we've got 1,200-meter effort at goal mile pace with an 8-minute recovery. Okay, no, excuse me, 6-minute recovery. And then you do a 600-meter effort with a 4-minute recovery. It's slightly faster than goal mile pace. And then 2 times 300 with a 100-meter jog recovery between mile and 800-meter pace. Okay, so the whole workout again, 2,400 meters, not a lot. It's a 1.5 miles worth of volume, but you should be able to do a 1.5 miles or up to 2 miles worth of work at mile pace if you do it right, if you build into it. Okay. Hey, Dimitri, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. So, and then one more is the 800, 600, 400, 300 effort. Okay. 8, 6, 4, 3. You do the 800 at mile pace. You do the 600 at mile pace or slightly faster. You do the 400-meter effort slightly faster than that. And then you run as hard as you can for the 300-meter effort, as close to 800-meter pace as possible. You take a 3-minute recovery after each one. This is a good late season workout. This is also a good early season effort if you want to just put something fast into the legs after a fall base or a cross-country season. You just want to have a decent race to get something celebratory in your legs. This is a good workout to do that. Good to see you too, Dimitri. How often do you buzz my head? I buzz my head every 2 weeks. I have clippers, so I just keep it nice and buzzed, man. Keep it nice and buzzed. Which guard are you? Number one clipper all the way. I keep it really short. So going with a razor, nah, not yet. I don't want to be bald. I like the little bit of hair. If I start to go really bald, then I'll probably do that, but not yet. Not yet, Dimitri. I want to keep some hair. It looks better with scruff too. Right now, at least. You know, maybe eventually down the line, I'll cut it all off, but not just yet. I'm keeping it a little bit longer. So, these are workouts. Let me know what you guys think of this, and you can do that lactic. You can do that lactic workout for the mile too. You can do a 400 at as hard as you possibly can do. So let's say it's at close to 800-meter pace. Okay, you take a 1-minute recovery, and then you go right into an 800 at threshold pace or tempo pace, excuse me, and then you take about an 8 or 10-minute recovery, and then you repeat that. And that's something you can do 2 or 3 times. Put the lactic in, flush it out. Put it in, flush it out. So, horseshoe. So I have to go with a razor. I get it, Dimitri. I mean, this is a little too high, too, and the glare makes it look like I'm really balding, but I have a full head. But it'll come all off soon at some point. So, but what do you folks think of these workouts? Have you seen these? Have you done these? I have dozens of more workouts for middle distance running. And just so you guys know, I'm actually finalizing 3 books. And one is going to be for cross-country or fall training for all levels. And then my next one's going to be track. It's going to be from sprints all the way up to the 10K. Fully detailed training programs to a max with workouts galore that'll accommodate everybody. And then my last one's going to be road racing from the mile up to the marathon. And I'm going to have fully detailed training programs, workouts galore. It's going to be the most comprehensive running books out there. And I'm close to finalizing them. I'm probably going to self-publish it, and then I'll get it there. So if you want to get a book that has all this stuff, you'll have it available to you soon. So, and as much detail as I go into my videos, I've got 200 plus videos. That's nothing compared to what's in my books. So I hope you, if you're interested in a book like that, I hope you'll consider buying. I'll eventually have a link on here where you could purchase it, but that's the plan, to have my 3 books published in 2022 and get them out there so that people can, so that, it doesn't really matter whether you run a 10-minute mile or a 5-minute mile or a 50-minute 5K or 14-minute 5K. You're going to have boatloads of access to help make you better. It's that simple. So beginners, intermediate, advanced, anybody, there's stuff in here for everybody. So any questions pertaining to half mile, mile, middle distance events, I'm here right now, so ask them. ask away if you have questions. Okay. Happy to answer them. Take advantage of me being here, and I'll be doing the live streams every Saturday, so that if people are interested and have questions, you have access to me, so I can answer them for you on the fly. And if I don't have the answer right away, I'll get it to you today, and I'll put it in the comments section. And if you need to reach out to me directly, reach out to me at blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. Take a look at my my Instagram page as well, Top of the Line Running. I promote, YouTube on Instagram. I promote my Instagram on the YouTube as well. So, and I'm going to continue to add stuff here. So, but again, if you have requests, I have my book. I take requests, and I'll put together a video for you. But I wanted to share these workouts for you because these are helpful workouts to help improve your half mile. That can improve your mile, especially if you're more of a distance runner, like 100 max power, and you're looking to improve. These are areas where you can improve. And again, the better you get in the shorter stuff, it should help translate you to the longer stuff. So, and which will make you, and the more diverse you are, the more well-rounded you are, the more prepared you're going to be, and the better off you're going to be short-term and long-term. And so that you'll be able to run different types of races. And that's the other thing with these races. You never really know. Some people go out hard. Some people sit and kick. Either way, you need to be ready for all the different scenarios. So, and that's why I'm going to give as many workouts as possible to help put you in that position to do that. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I wrap it up? If anybody has any other questions on middle distance stuff specifically, take a look at my channel. I've got a boatload of stuff for that 800-mile additional workouts, a fully detailed training plan for both on the channel too, so you can take a look and see how I kind of lay out the training. But if I could recommend anything, encourage anything, it would be a multi-pace training system broken into 2 or 3 week blocks that's repeatable, so that you can give yourself enough time to recover and you can progress appropriately to help make you better. So, 100 max power, you're welcome. I'm glad you found it helpful. But yeah, repeatable cycle so that your body can adapt. That's called periodization. And so you can continue to monitor your progress. And again, you could repeat the same exact thing over a 3 week block twice or 3 times, and you'll see how well you progress from one block to the next, how you're recovering better, how the workouts might get a little bit faster, or you're doing a little bit more volume at the same pace. They're all signs of progress, okay? But they all help you put you in a position to test yourself in all different types of areas. Dimitri, 4:11. 4 minutes, 11 seconds. How about you, Dimitri? What is the appropriate marathon goal finish time for a sub 6 minute miler? I'm not sure I have that on me here. Let's check. Hang on one second. Just give me a second and I'll see what I can do here. So if you're a 5:55 miler, if you're doing the right training, it should eventually translate to about a 3:13 marathon, Dimitri. About a 3:13. So 5:58. Yeah, I'm using 5:55. So you're right around 3:13. That's what it should tell you, Dimitri. So hopefully I hope you found that helpful. Any other questions, anybody? Everybody? I'm happy to answer. Before I wrap it up. Okay. Let's give it another minute. I might do one more of these, or I might do. I'm actually going to put these in a PowerPoint presentation, these workouts, and attach it to the video later on today or tomorrow, so you'll have that on there if you want to refer to it. But does anybody want me to do a full detailed training program for a 5K or a marathon? And we can go over a 12-week or a 10-week program together, and I could do it week by week for you if you want. We can dissect one of my videos in terms of how I break it down too, and we can do that as well. So does anybody want to do that? And what distance would you like me to do it for? How often would I race or time trial a mile during a training cycle? Depends. If you're training for the mile itself, then I would let the mile races be the indicators. But if you're not, if you're training for longer, like 5K, 10K, half marathon, then I would test it early in the season. Before you really start, like you start a 10-week block, or if let's say you do 8 weeks of base training, and then you're going to transition into a 12-week program for the half marathon or whatever, I would do it that first week or the week prior to the first week. So the week in between base training and your half marathon training. Test yourself there. And you can even test yourself at 2 miles for the longer stuff. Like half marathon, I would test yourself. If you're going to run anything from a 10K down, I would test yourself at a mile. So then you can set your training paces. And then let's say 8 weeks out from that, or 2 or 3 weeks before your key race, your goal race, test yourself at the mile again and see how well you've progressed. And you can either run it significantly faster or you might recover significantly better from it. Both are signs of improvement and progression. Okay. How many 20 miles before a marathon is ideal? Samir, what's up, man? If you can get 2 of them in, that's a good thing. At least 1, you need to know what it feels like, but 2 and 3 would be perfect, but 2 is an ideal number. Do I know Coach Nathan from the Run Dream Achieve YouTube channel? I don't. No, I'll look into him. I will look into him. Let's see here. I'm going to take a photo of that, and I'll take a look at his channel today, and see what type of stuff he's doing. And is it similar to mine, Samir? Does he do these types of things, live streams and videos, detailed training programs, and stuff like that? If so, that's great. You know, I want this channel to be unique as well. That's why I like to do these live streams on the weekend, so you have access to me, and I can answer questions right on the fly. So, all right. Well, let me wrap this up, and I'll take a look at that. Samir, thanks so much for everybody for joining. Hope you found it helpful. How many sub 3 marathons have I run? 4. 4, Eric. I've only run 4 marathons, and they're all sub 3. And it's been a while. Been a while since I've run them, so it's been quite a while. But thanks so much for joining, everybody. If you have more questions, put them in the comments. Okay, not this comment. Wait till the video uploads, and then put them in those comments. Okay, because once this stops, the comment stream expires, and then you just go to the regular video, and you can put them down below the video, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So have a great weekend, everybody, and comments work here. You have to wait until the video is officially uploaded, Eric. Okay, but take a look at all my other videos that aren't, and also that are not live streams, and you can put them on there. But it generally takes about 12 hours for this to convert into a uploaded video for some reason on YouTube. I don't know why, but if you have questions, go to my Instagram, Top of the Line Running. Message me there, or email me directly, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. I will answer them either way. Okay, but I'm not sure why it takes the comments a while to activate in YouTube. It's kind of strange when you go from live stream to a regular, but it happens. You'll be able to. On a foreign country, I gotcha. From Instagram or email, and I'll answer all your questions. Question about Gain versus Ngannou. Yeah, what's the question before I head out? Oh, opinion. Excuse me. Francis Ngannou. You talking about the Ngannou John Jones? Or the Ngannou fight? I think Ngannou was probably going to win, and then I think if he fights John Jones, I think Jones will win. That's my prediction there. Ngannou, but if John better make sure he doesn't get hit. If Ngannou wins, he better make sure he doesn't get hit. Ngannou has serious knockout power. So anyway, have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll talk to you next time.